So finally, on the order of the Lord, Arjuna took one arrow and Lord himself sat in that arrow. Vaishnava Astra, like Vishnu Astra. So as soon as Sudanva saw that the Lord himself was sitting in that arrow to kill him, he opened his arms. He said, "My dear Lord, I am yours. Please accept me. Please bless me that I attain your lotus feet in this battlefield." So Arjuna's arrow was resolved as Sudanva called out, "My dear Govinda, who loves his devotees?" Then Govinda's head was chopped off by the arrow. Then it chopped off and fell at the lotus feet of the Lord, because he wanted that his lotus feet be placed at the feet of the Lord. The head of the devotee fell at the lotus feet of the Lord. And he was still chanting, "Govinda, Hare, Mukunda, Shri Krishna." Then Lord Krishna picked up his head. At that time, a light from the body of that head emitted and entered into the body of the Lord. The Lord gave him liberation.
Chetadatpanamarjanam bhava mahadabagni nirvapanam Sya kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadhu jivanam Anandamrudivardhanam pratipadam purnamritaswadanam sarvatma sapanam parang vijayati Sri Krishna Sankirtanam.
This is in context of Rajasuya Yajna. When Yudhishthira Maharaj had established Indraprastha, he wanted to perform a Rajasuya Yajna. He wanted to show that he is the emperor of the whole world. So at that time, various people have been deputed in different directions with a horse. And if somebody catches a horse and it is like the king has to either subordinate by voluntarily paying the taxes and say, "You are the supreme and we follow," or he has to fight and retaliate, challenge. So see, this is stories in such consideration. There was a king known as Hansadvaja of Champakapuri, a very pious person, a protector of his subjects, a brave warrior and a pure devotee of the Lord. It was his speciality in his kingdom that all men of royal family and his subjects followed the vow of having only one wife, because Kshatriyas are polygamy is allowed among Kshatriyas. When the horse of Ashwamedha Yajna of the Pandavas reached Champakapuri, Maharaj Hansadvaja thought, "I have grown old, but still my eyes have not been able to see Lord Krishna personally. On the pretext of stopping this horse, I will go to the battlefield and see the Lord Purushottama." So to protect the horse, Arjuna, Pradyumna were walking behind with other great warriors. So everybody knew that this king wanted to see Lord Sri Krishna. The horse was caught and they tied that horse. And their Rajguru was Shanka and Likita. And because the horse was tied up, there will be a war. Arjuna and all the people will come forward to fight. So it is a message has been passed across the kingdom. Anybody who does not come before this stipulated time will be punished very severely. And they will put it into a pan of boiling oil. That is the punishment. Anybody who does not match this principle. So this king had 5 sons by name Sabal, Surat, Sam, Sudarshan and Sudanva. The youngest prince was Sudanva. So he went to his mother to take permission. The brave mother embraced his son and ordered him, "If you can defeat Arjuna in the war, then Sri Krishna, who is wearing a peacock feather, will certainly come to protect Partha. Do not disrespect your mother's breast milk. One who dies in the war in front of Sri Krishna does not die, because liberated he will liberate his 21 generations. If you die as a martyr in front of Purushottama while fighting in the war, then I will truly be happy." So Sudanva accepted his mother's order. Because he has recently been married, his wife, who is known as Prabhavati, was standing at the doorstep with a plate to offer him Veera Tilaka, by putting him a garland, by putting him Tilaka. She worshipped her husband and prayed, "Oh my dear husband, I know you are going to fight with Arjuna, but I have one request. I want a son to offer your last rites when you leave." So he tried to convince his wife, "See, war is very important. Now it is not the time." But wife was very much persistent. So finally he could not avoid. So he engaged in sexual intercourse with her just for the progeny purpose. He came out, he took bath, he got ready. Then everybody gave him the blessings and he went out to the war. Because he reached a time beyond the late time, now the Guru became very angry. He said, rule is rule, rule for all. You may be the king's son or a common person. Rule should be applied. So he was immediately punished to be put into a hot boiling pan. So he did not bother because he thought, I have wanted to desire to see the Lord, but still this could not happen. So the Rajaguru, so he could not be dissuaded. The huge pan was put with full boiling oil. The fumes were so heavy, and people who are trying to come near itself, they were becoming like that heat was so much. So when he was thrown into the oil, and continuously was chanting the holy names of the Lord. Continuously he was chanting the holy names. To everybody's surprise, his body did not burn. As soon as you put an item into oil, what happens? It becomes roasted, they become kebab. Full body will become fried. Some 65 will become. But nothing happened there. He was simply chanting. Everybody were wondering what is happening. Whether this oil is properly heated or not. Somebody tried to put some rose petal or something into that. Rose petal became into ashes because of that excessive heat. So to test the oil, they put a coconut into that oil pan, and immediately coconut broke. And as soon as that coconut broke, it hit back. Means it bounced, exploded, and hit back the gurus, both on their heads. So now they realized the importance of the devotee of the Lord, of their Vaishnava Aparadha. In shame, they said, we doubted a true devotee of the Lord. So because they had offended a Vaishnava, their Guru Shanka wanted to commit suicide. So he also entered into that pan because of that Vaishnava Aparadha. He wanted to sacrifice his life. But because already that devotee, Sudanva, is already sitting there, this Guru also entered there. As soon as they entered, it was like not hot at all. It was like chilled cold water. In summer, if we experience that cold water, it was like for them, that's like was a cooling atmosphere, it was there. By the touch of the devotee, that oil became so cold. The Guru realized that what is the potence of a pure devotee. So then both of them came out and he said, no, you have been blessed by the Lord. You are already blessed by the Lord. Now, fulfill your desire, go and fight with the Lord. So both of them came out. By the blessings of his Guru, he went and he started counteracting Arjuna. So he was fighting with full capacity. Arjuna was also fighting with full capacity. He was showing all his weapons and all, everything, all divine weapons and all he is using, but he is not able to be defeated. Sudanva was so strong. So finally, on the order of the Lord, Arjuna took one arrow and Lord himself sat in that arrow. Vaishnava Astra, like Vishnu Astra. So as soon as Sudanva saw that the Lord himself was sitting in that arrow to kill him, he opened his arms, he said, my dear Lord, I am yours, please accept me. Please bless me that I attain your lotus feet in this battlefield. So Arjuna's arrow was resolved as Sudanva called out, my dear Govinda, who loves his devotees? Then Govinda's head was chopped off by the arrow. Then it chopped off and fell at the lotus feet of the Lord. Because he wanted that his lotus feet be placed at the feet of the Lord. The head of the devotee fell at the lotus feet of the Lord. And he was still chanting, Govinda, Hare, Mukunda, Shri Krishna. Then Lord Krishna picked up his head. Because his brother was killed, he came to the battlefield and he said to Arjuna, oh Arjuna, now get ready to fight with me. Then Surata said to Krishna, oh son of Devaki, now you protect Arjuna in every way. I'll see how you can protect him. So Surata challenged Arjuna. Seeing Surata's enthusiasm for war, Krishna did not want to consider him appropriate for him to kill. So they started walking away. They went for 3 yojanas with their entire army. But Surata started following him and he dispersed all the army. Then he started fighting with Arjuna with a severe, again, strength and vigor. Then Arjuna, then he used a divine arrow to cut off the Surata's huge head, which had huge eyes adorned with earrings. Because that head was cut and it came and fell again, it fell down on the ground and like a ball it came and bounced on the head of Arjuna. Because of the heat of that Arjuna became unconscious on the battlefield. Suddenly came and hit on his head and Arjuna became unconscious. So Lord Krishna brought him back to consciousness. And Lord Krishna was seeing that head with intense love, because they are all pure devotees of the Lord. Then Lord said to Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, the greatest devotee here has just been passed away. So Lord Krishna lifted that head with both hands. Arjuna also took that head and worshipped it in the battlefield, saying that there is no warrior like him. Then after that, Lord Krishna called Garuda and asked him to take this head and place it in Prayag, Triveni Sangama. He said, because of the touch of this devotee, my Triveni Sangama, which is my own abode, will become more purified. Then Lord Shiva took that head skeleton and put it into his garland of skeletons. And he said, now I become more purified. In that way, that devotee achieved the highest destination.